Our next speaker is someone who I deeply admire, and many of us do too, and is courageous beyond words. None other than District Attorney Rachael Rollins.
And Victoria. So thank you, Carla, for sharing your story. You have turned unimaginable grief into action because no other mother should have to experience what you have endured. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to be here today, and yet I speak to you with a heavy heart, trying to put into words the feelings that I cannot fully understand or process. I've said weeks ago, I am heartbroken, furious, and completely exhausted. I see history repeating itself over and over again. Burrell Anthony Ramsey White, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Tony McDade, Elijah McClain, Cornelius Fredericks, Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, Sandra Bland. The list of names is thousands long and centuries old. Black lives not just lost, but stolen and taken and ripped from us. I say us because they are ripped from our communities, our neighborhoods, our homes, but their families, their siblings, children, partners, fathers, and mothers, they don't just mourn, we break. As the mother of a beautiful, brilliant, talented, determined, and exceptional Black daughter, and an auntie to two of my beautiful nieces, this is one of them, I am painfully aware and personally aware of how many in this country view my children. I see potential, and so do many of you. Some see a threat. I wonder whether or not our country, all of us, will have the courage and the fortitude to truly ensure not one more. Can we finally stop history from repeating itself? And although not law enforcement involved, we can't forget ever, but certainly not in Pride Month, Rhea Milton and Dominique Remy Fells, who are two Black trans women of a long list of Black trans women who have been murdered. We must confront our past in order to build a more just and equitable future. We need to do the work. We need to have honest and uncomfortable conversations. We have not had an atonement or a reckoning. Germany, South Africa, Guatemala, other places have looked at their shameful past, the genocides that they have had. You can't walk in Germany for a few blocks without seeing some memorial to the horror, and they acknowledge what they did, and they're better because of that. Yes, we don't condone the genocide, of course not, but they acknowledge that harm so that they can start moving forward. We have yet to do that in the United States. And racism is not only this country's original sin, it is our mutating virus. We went from slavery to Jim Crow to mass incarceration, and now we are seeing, due to cell phones, what many communities knew well before that, police brutality. And racism, I'm sorry, is not just a few bad apples. It's the result of carefully crafted systems that were designed to control, monitor, punish Black, brown bodies. The system is working exactly the way it was set up to work. This is the failure of anti-racism. It is a product of refusing to face the things we need to change. And I want to say something. The police have been getting a lot of slack as a result of the horrific things we've seen some individuals do. And I won't call them officers. It disgraces the name of the many good men and women that go to work every day and treat us with dignity and respect. And there are some. However, it is not just the police. DAs are failing you as well. When you think about Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia, and you watch that video of the McMichaels, father and son, hunting that black man, and you also see the videos of white couples walking into that abandoned property, they're still alive. Of white children walking in to look at that abandoned property, they're still alive. But Ahmaud was hunted and killed by Travis McMichael. We now know he uttered a racial slur as Ahmaud breathed his last breaths. And 3 district attorneys watched that video and did nothing until the Georgia Bureau of Investigations swooped in, and within 24 hours, they charged the McMichaels family with felony murder and their co-conspirator with felony murder as well. Those are 3 district attorneys that failed this country. We are just as much to blame as police, because when we willfully look the other way, it emboldens people to continue harming, hurting, and executing us. So herein lies the complication and the opportunity. I am not just a black woman who has been impacted by racism and racial disparities. I am your elected district attorney, and very proud to be so. I am part of a larger criminal legal system that disproportionately impacts poor black and brown people. And poor people are the most impacted of every color. It is better to be rich and guilty than poor and innocent in our system, to quote the fabulous Brian Stevenson. I need to actively, aggressively, and continually combat that reality. And very quickly, what I'm proud of is I ran on a platform of 15 areas of crimes, low-level, non-violent, non-serious crimes, where in the first instance, we aren't going to think about putting you in jail. We are very good at putting people in jail. We're going to look at the root cause of the problem, because about 60% of the people that come into contact with the criminal legal system of those crimes are mentally ill, have a substance use disorder, food or housing insecurity, or are homeless. And I would rather focus on the root cause of that problem so we never see them again until they come back and work for our office. And please, a real example of this, George Floyd was murdered, was executed for a $20 bill that was counterfeit. That is not a felony, not even in Alabama and Mississippi or Kentucky. It is a misdemeanor, and they don't have the death penalty for that. But in 8 minutes and 46 seconds, Derek Chauvin tried, convicted, sentenced, and executed George Floyd as he screamed and cried for his mother. Those lists of 15 are for the George Floyds. If that were implemented, he would still be alive today. And every police department in the nation implemented that list of 15 when COVID-19 happened, because they're no longer arresting people for nonviolent, non-serious crimes. They're issuing tickets and summonses. So it just took a global pandemic for them to recognize that we were right in Suffolk County all along. We have also created the first in the nation discharge integrity team. So when an officer discharges his or her weapon in Suffolk County, or discharges their duty and somebody is harmed or killed, we have a community member who runs a public community health center, a criminal defense lawyer, a retired judge, and a member of law enforcement, and me. We don't even meet in my office, and those cases are presented to all of us. So the community has a voice in what is happening, and it is not just in a silo where one person makes that decision. We are also transparent, and I have made it clear that when people are unhappy with what our office does, we will always look back to make sure we got it right, because no profession is perfect, including police and DAs. So I'm trying to change a system that was designed for people who look like me, but with people like me. It was designed by people who do not look like me, but with people who look like me directly in mind. The work is difficult and often painful, but it is necessary. I need your help, and I think you might need mine. Please call on me, and I will call on you. We must all march like mothers, fight like mothers, and love like mothers. That is how we're going to build lasting change. Let's go. Thank you.